Hello, Caleb here, otherwise known as Artist Caleb, aka L'artiste extraordinaire. And here's a quick sketch we're going to be doing. First things first, you're going to need to memorize this formula. And that's going to help you with your lighting situations and perspective. So we'll get started here. I've got these perspective lines in, basically 2 points, one of them off screen. I already drew this structure beforehand because I hadn't thought ahead long enough to actually start recording this. But that's okay. And here's a window frame. I've chosen an angle that would be roughly anywhere between 18 and 28 millimeters on a camera lens because I'm so far out on the perspective grid. Now this part you got to pay attention to coming right up here. Since I have it in fast forward, we're playing this not in real time. Gonna have to run through it a bit quicker, so here it goes. Alright, and we'll just go ahead and I'll slow that down a bit audio wise so you can hear it. Painting. And that should pretty much cover that. Anyhow, basically I like to work in tons and tons of layers. I like lots of layers. That way if you screw up, you don't have to go back 1,000 years and you can make a lot of changes. Of course, most Photoshop users right now are going, "Do you think so?" So anyway, I want to put some window panes in, and I don't want to go and draw every single pane in. That's why they call it a pane. So I'm just going to make some selection marks here, fill them in with gray, opaque, opacity about 100% so I can do whatever I want with it, have my way with it, and just going to duplicate a bunch of them and see how they look perspective-wise, duplicate the layer because I want to keep my original layer in case I don't like how all my work turns out. I can start over again, make different sizes and so forth. Alright, hang on, I have to do this really fast. Okay. What is this? What is this? Where were we? Oh yeah, okay, Windows. So I'm just putting in some values right now, assuming that there's dust on the windows are old, stuff like that. And I'm kind of happy with the look of that. So moving on from there, going to put some walkways in around this tree. And I seem to have some problems doing that. According to what I'm looking at in the video here anyway. Where do you put the thing with the... Wait, will they walk over there and then... Huh, okay, well, I'm getting it figured out. You always want to try to keep everything as close to true perspective as possible. And, I mean, I don't have to, but you do. So, anyway. Again, more layers, lots of layers. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to lock transparency so that so I can't paint on it. Just paint on the visible paint only, or whatever. Here's some beautiful music to enjoy. Okay, that's enough of that. And typically, you don't have to add detail until you're getting close to completion on whatever it is that you're working on. But hey, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Really, the sky's the limit. Except don't ever break any of the rules. Leaves are a real pain in the butt because there's so much detail, and you really can't. You can't underdo leaves. just the problem is that everybody is an expert when it comes to looking at nature, because we've all seen it all of our lives. So when it looks bad, it just looks bad. When it looks good, it looks great. And so you definitely want to go all the way with leaves. I don't mean that way. Like, you want to work on them a lot. And we'll add some more trees and brush in and everything like that in the background. And also, if you'll notice, they're value-wise, they're a lot lighter. And in art, more often than not, artists exaggerate atmosphere. So the further away something is, the more atmosphere in between, and so your values are not as deep. And in art, that's often overdone. It's overstated. But that can be a good thing. In ambient lighting, you're dealing with a situation that is it's basically like ambient occlusion in a 3D package in rendering. You're going to have a lot of soft shadows because the angle of light is going to be wider. You have a wider angle of light, not so direct. Not everybody works in black and white. Not everybody works in black and white because, you know, I don't know, because they don't anyway, but I like to because I feel like light is more important than anything. Values are more important, and color really is secondary, you know. Breaking some of these windows up here, just kind of give the house some age. This would be some ambient occlusion, a good example of ambient occlusion, touching up the bottom part of the house right there, just the way that surfaces at oblique angles interact with one another, and you know, how the light is bounced around that. Also attempted to put some light on the tree, just kind of see what that looks like. Wasn't really happy with that though, so that goes. In the coloring process, I'll use multiply operation, just in terms of adding color. Well, multiplying color. If you add color, then it's literally going to also add value. So you want to try to avoid that, unless, of course, you intended to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to basically multiply the color onto the values that are already there. And that probably makes a lot of sense. One thing that I could have done is I could have added a lot of detail to the foundation of the house, the base of the house, but I didn't want to. It's a quick sketch, just wanted to get it out, and I have a tendency to overdo everything. Except put a lot of effort into recording dialogue for stuff. I am colorblind pretty badly, especially to reds and greens, so if this picture is looking especially minty, sorry, you know, so sue me. No, don't actually, but I mean, you know, just as an expression, I guess. In hindsight, it would have been pretty cool to put some crepuscular rays coming over the eaves of the house there, and through the trees and everything like that, but you know what they say, hindsight is always 2020. So anyway, here's the end result, and yep, there it is. Hope that it was fun and all. Bye.